I saw a guy beating his wife. When he noticed my stare, he didn't look happy.
The hell you want, asshole? I'm talking to you, stupid.
I didn't say a word. I just kept staring, no expression. Within seconds, he was overpowered by my presence and apologized.
I'm just having a bad day. Won't happen again.
After hearing this, I stopped the eye contact and walked into the restaurant. Just as I was about to take a bite of dessert, 2 police cars rushed by. I looked around the restaurant. There was no one suspicious. They must be here for me. The officers were armed and looked nervous. I didn't resist. I silently followed them to the police station. They searched me thoroughly, only finding $200 and a medal. Later, I learned why I was arrested. A murder had happened by the highway last night. The victim had been shot in the back of the head. Then, he was brutally beaten. When they found him, he was barely covered by some cardboard. No bullet casings were found at the scene. This morning, I was the only one who got off the bus near the crime scene, so I had to speak up. I denied being the killer. Based on the sheriff's description, I already had my theory. There must have been 3 people involved. One was a skilled shooter who took the bullet shells. The second was a psychopath who beat the corpse senseless. The third person was the coward who covered the body with cardboard. If the shooter had handled the body, it wouldn't have been so sloppy, and the madman would never think to hide it. The third person must have been scared, just covering it up quickly. The sheriff was stunned. He couldn't speak, but to save face, he said they found a phone number in the victim's shoe. He wouldn't let me go until he confirmed it wasn't mine. The number led to a guy named Paul, a young currency manager. He didn't seem like a killer, but when he saw the car outside, his face turned pale. Before the sheriff could ask more, he admitted he was the murderer. Everyone could tell he was lying. Following the procedure, they took him back to the police station, and I was released. But the sheriff wasn't done with me. He thought Paul admitted to the crime to clear me. Clearly, my analysis had bruised his ego. He was now somewhat hostile towards me. I decided to show him what I could do. I told him to check Officer Steven. When Paul entered, he locked eyes with him for 2 seconds. He should ask Steven what he knows. The sheriff pulled me and the officer together for a confrontation. I knew he wanted me to fail, but I was right. Turns out, Steven and Paul were cousins. They had been partying until 2 a.m. Paul was drunk. He couldn't have killed anyone. He couldn't understand why Paul confessed. But it was clear that Paul knew something. The sheriff thought putting Paul in jail would make him talk, but he locked me up too, for assaulting an officer. Once we got to jail, something felt off. They put us in death row. This was not normal. Soon enough, a group of big guys cornered me in the bathroom. They clearly underestimated me. They were no match for me. I knocked them out with 1 punch. By the time the guards arrived, they were all on the ground. No punishment came my way. The guards didn't want anyone to know about their mistake. They put me in death row on purpose. Someone was pulling strings behind the scenes. They want me dead here. Back in the cell, Paul was still shaken. He told me he wasn't the killer. He was forced to confess. Then, the female officer Rose checked my background. She found out I was a decorated war veteran with dozens of medals. I'd solved over 100 cases after retiring and won every single one. She even found my alibi. Despite the sheriff's resistance, Rose got me out. I was about to leave this crazy town, but Rose insisted on taking me to dinner. So, I changed my clothes and fixed my hair. But just before dinner, Rose said it was canceled because they found another body. It was only 40 meters away from the first one. Same bullet caliber. After seeing my sharp eye for detail, they asked me to help investigate. When I saw the body, I couldn't believe my eyes. The man who had been murdered was my brother.